Hello everyone, welcome to today's video where we are going to take a look at round 8 of the Goa International Grandmaster Chess Tournament being held in Goa from the 11th to the 19th of January. In the 8th round I was playing against Saptorshi Gupta. He's actually one of my neighbors and one of the players I saw, I looked upon when I started playing chess, and currently he has left chess and is pursuing his PhD in, I think, economics in Auckland, and but he's in India now, so he's planned to play one tournament maybe just for fun. I started with c4, e5, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, f5, knight c3, knight f6, and I was expecting him to play this variation. I didn't prepare much because yesterday was tiring, and I decided to sleep more. I played b3, a slightly unusual variation. I played bishop c5, bishop b2, a5. I had only prepared mostly against castles, but a5 was a new move for me. But I thought maybe it's not a great move, it's not developing move, and maybe in the future he has some ideas with a4, and also like some bishop retreat to a7, but I don't think that it's very useful. I played e3, and after e4, if knight b4 there's queen b1, and if e4 there's bishop f1, and I'm going to play something like a3 next, and then bishop g2 or bishop e2, then f3, and I think I'm fine here, maybe slightly better. I played e4, which I felt was slightly premature because I can strike in the center directly with d3 now. If something like castles, I can just pick up the pawn like this, and it's no fun for black to play this position. And if something like knight e5, I can take, and there's also ideas of something like queen h5 check. This is hanging, this is hanging, this is hanging, everything is hanging, and I should be winning in this position. ed3 was the most logical move. Maybe queen e7 was a move, but I think I can still take, and maybe jump with the knight on d5, and after knight takes, queen takes, this pawn is going to fall soon, and I'm clearly winning. He played e takes d3, queen takes d3, d6, and here already I felt that I'm clearly better in this position. I could have I played knight g2 here, maybe even knight f3 is fine, stopping the black knight from coming to e5. I played knight e2. I think the only problem in black's position is the pawn on f5, as Yusupov has said that pawns don't go backwards. I think black would very much have liked his pawn on f7 in this position rather than on f5. It kind of weakens his king when it's going to castle, because this diagonal is open, and even this diagonal is very weak now. My bishop on b2 is just a monster. He played castles, I played castles, and after knight e5, queen c2, keeping a watch on the f5 pawn, he played queen e8, trying to go queen h5 check and knight f3. Here I was also thinking about something like rook d1, but then queen h5 is coming, and after knight f4 takes, I didn't want to give up the light square bishop. Knight f4 was quite logical. Thus he played rook b8, trying to develop his bishop with bishop d7. The b7 is just protecting the b7 pawn with rook b8. I played rook d1, bishop d7, h3. My idea was to go knight d3, but if I go knight d3 here immediately, then he's knight d3, queen d3, and now knight g4 and knight e5 next. So I just wanted to prevent the knight on f6 from coming to the g4 square, from which it can then hop on to the e5 square. So I played h3, and here already I realized that it's not so easy for black to find moves in this position, and I was thinking I was clearly better, but maybe it's not so easy for white to play, there's not a clear progress for white maybe, but I can always improve my position with something like a3, then knight d3, I can exchange off these knights, and just a3, knight d3, exchange of these knights, and then reroute my the c3 knight to f4, and then slowly but surely I can go something like queen c3 or queen d2, and then b4, taking out this bishop. But Yeah, he played king h8 and I played knight d3, knight d3, queen d3, and here my opponent played a very dubious move. I think he played knight e4. But there's not much to say about black's position here, because this f5 pawn is kind of awkward, and I can develop I can improve my position with something like a3, knight e2, of course, as I said earlier. And this a5 bishop is like biting on granite on e3, so it doesn't it's really not a fun position for black to play. I played knight e4, trying to simplify the position. I took on e4, fe4, and his point was if queen e4, bishop e4, bishop h3, he's like getting an endgame. Although even after this position, bishop g2, I think white is clearly better here with this bishop on b2. The bishop on c5 is not doing much, it's completely restricted by the e3 pawn, but I think my rooks can get very active very soon, and I should be better here. But I didn't like this move, bishop g4 here, so yeah. But anyways, I had a much better choice in the form of queen c3, attacking on g7 and also the pawn on a5. He played rook f7. I was calculating some variations with queen f7, queen f5, rook a8, queen c7, rook a2, and here I saw that I have this move, nice move, bishop d4. The point is if it plays rook f2, queen f2, I have just king h2, and I think I'm clearly winning here with rook f1 coming next. He might be able to play something like bishop d4, ed4, and e3, but then just rook f1, and I think I'm winning. This is just a game over. Seems risky for white, but my king is pretty safe actually here. So he played rook f7 and queen f5, and he played b5. I was quite surprised when he played b5. I was expecting him to play rook 8. Now of course queen takes c7 doesn't work because of bishop g4, I think, and my queen is trapped, and I'm done for here. Even bishop h3 is a better move, I think. Yeah, bishop h3 is the move. So I had to come back on c3 with my queen, and after this position I saw that I can just play rook a1, takes, and here I saw c6, but c5, dc5, bc5, bishop c7, and I can play rook a7 here, attacking the b7 pawn. If something like queen b8, then of course queen a3 is coming and rook a8 can't be stopped. Maybe he can play rook 8, but then can I just pick up this pawn? But that's bishop h3, right? Maybe I can play something like h4 or g4 and then pick up this pawn. Yeah, I mean, very annoying position for black to play. I see another idea here though. Something like bishop a1 might be interesting, and my idea is to go queen b2 next and attack the b7 pawn as well as the g7 weakness. So he has to play rook g8. But yeah, this position is just too much. I think something like even bishop f1 comes into my consideration, but I think simply h4 is fine. The e4 pawn is going to fall for sure. Bishop f5 just looks horrible. I don't know, maybe rook f4, this. Maybe not rook f4. Yeah, I can just play h5, h6, and now h5 with the idea of going h6 next. Okay, I mean already the position seems terrible. Should be winning somehow. c5 also, bishop c7 is possible. But I think I can just take and then play queen d4, and the e4 pawn is going to fall soon. Rook d1. Very bad position for black. b5, I played bishop d4, and here I was expecting him to play rook a8, queen d2, takes. Not lost position for black yet. He's a pawn down, but and also the e4 pawn seems to fall very soon. But it's already very it's like what is going to win with accurate play, but like some saving chances for black. But surprised when he played rook f5. I don't know what the idea is. Some like he threatened some discoveries like this maybe against my queen, but I think he completely missed queen takes c7 and rook c8, queen b7, and maybe here he saw this bishop c6 and queen a6. My queen might get trapped with rook 8. Even initially I saw this, but then I realized that's just queen takes g7 and it's GG for black. He played b takes c4. I took on c4 simply. Rook f7, queen b2, playing it safe, bishop e6, bishop c5, bc5, queen c2, queen c6, bishop e4, queen a6. And here actually something funny happened in our game. My opponent almost played queen f4. One of the spectators told that he had left his hand here and then immediately grabbed it, but I think but I didn't really realize it. Like some of his fingers were off his piece. I was sure about that, but I don't know if all of his fingers were off the piece, so I didn't claim anything and I was winning, so it didn't really make much sense, but maybe I should have claimed it. Who knows. But anyway, so I was winning, so not much of a fuss. He played queen c6, bishop e4, queen a6 and bishop d5, and here he resigned he decided to call it a day. And yeah, so a pretty easy win for me really, but I felt that my opponent was quite tired after the double rounds, and especially since he is not a regular player now, it's very tiring tournament for him. So yeah, I think quality was my game was fine, and I'm at 5.5 out of 8 now. 2 more rounds to go, and I'm hoping to make a strong finish. And yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done it yet. And I hope you enjoyed it, the recap, and stay tuned. See you tomorrow after the 9th round, and yeah, have a good day, evening, morning, night, wherever you're from. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.